So, I'm going to talk about what I think went well with my work and what I think didn't go so well with my work. With my final pieces, I'll go concentrate on that firstly. So, between all of them, I think the first one I'm happy with, I'm very happy with. Um, there's something I'd improve is that probably the cloud. I'd probably want to develop that a bit more. And I think maybe there's this lens flare in it that made it look too much. Sort of looks like a planet, and more almost makes it look like some sort of solar system, which isn't what I intended, and it has confused a couple of people on what it is. Um, so yeah, I think in future I'd try and make it more clear that it's an asteroid impacting the atmosphere. So the second one, the sketches of the Dragon Slayer and the what of the dragon look out of place. I've been told this by a couple of people, where the ground and them is it's like it's obvious they've been put in it. They don't really look like they're part of the image. So that's something that I think in the future I'd probably sketch out the ground to sort of complement these two things a bit more, make it more like it's part of the image. Here, I think it's personal things I've noticed how the one side is sort of more smaller than the other. Then the hand, I'm not too happy about. I feel like I could have done a better job with that. Um, as well as there's some bits of the sea. I feel like I could have probably done a better job making the sea look like it's more smashing onto the cliffs or something. Uh, here, again, it's the thing about it being out of place. To me, I can see it's just put in there. I feel like it's a bit better merged into this piece, but I think a bit more work, a bit more development into this one could have worked as well. I think less reliance on the photographic aspect, even though that was a Gorilla's idea, the way Gorillas is layered onto a photo background or a film background. I was trying to do that, and it kind of works, and it kind of, yeah, I could see the issues with it. All right, and I'll go on to the last two. This one, I've had a lot of positive reactions on. I mean, I've had that on all of them. I've had very mixed thing. Everyone's got a preferential one, but this one I'm happy. I'm quite happy with. I think something to improve is probably the distortion with the saturation and everything is it might be a little bit overwhelming, and I think I could have done a job where perhaps I make everything look more real. Maybe, yeah. Again, perhaps less reliance of photography and more reliance on perhaps sketching, I guess. And the bottom one, I think the bottom. I think if I'd taken another picture of some city, that would have been good. But with this, I think it's just the angles of the light. I'm a bit bothered about the bottom, as well as the sort of overexposure. It's sort of it's difficult when you're trying to work out how things would look like in real life. I mean, for one, there would not be nearly as many flares as I've put in, and I'm probably just over exaggerating the amount of flares I've put in, but it's still something that bothers me. Um, Now, I'm going to talk about the exhibition overall. So, I don't have any pictures of the exhibition. That's not very professional, is it? No, it isn't. Um, all right, so design of the exhibition, I had a box, so I had three sides, and I think something I should have done is probably make the most of it. I mean, for one, I printed out on card, and I was relying too much on the computer and this slideshow of my images or my six images on the computer, complemented with some text. And then because the walls were empty and I wasn't using them, I also printed everything out. so it was almost pointless to have the slideshow. In a way, I mean, it's good to have the slideshow due to the fact you could see the images how they were intended to be seen. The idea originally was to have them as desktop backgrounds. That was the idea on why I did them the size I had them in the first place. I wrote that down as well. So I'm not making this up on the spot. I did write it down. Um, but yeah, I think better planning, or if I, because I originally intended to do an animation, since I think I decided to change that maybe perhaps a bit too late, and therefore there's a bit of a lack of development in my work for these six final pieces. And if I had planned things better and didn't really do an animation, just concentrate on these, I think the result would have been um, far more developed, and there'd be a lot more backing behind these six pieces. Although I am happy with the result right now, I think there's still something that I have in my mind, and it's good to get that off my chest. Um, but yeah, and then for the presenting them, if I planned it, I would have gotten better quality paper. Um, and so the images wouldn't look so bad printed out. They'd still look pretty good. And of course, I said this already, less reliance on the computer. Uh, but I think overall it was a success. People did see the images, people did read what it said, they got the concept I was giving them, and people did like what I'd made. So I think in that aspect it was good. With the leaflet, I think that went really well. I did put a lot of time into that, so and I've had positive reactions with that. The only issues I have with it is perhaps advertising, and then the social media stuff as well was a bit. Wouldn't really concentrate on that much, but it's not really the main bit, is it? I think the invitations could have done with having the dates of the exhibition as well as the time of the opening night, because there's some people I know who did think they'd miss it, but turns out they didn't, and there was like more time. And I think bold letters on the actual poster would have worked a bit better than, because it looked a bit lackluster with it being just normal caliber light. What else? I think in my work, in all of my work in general, I didn't really explore so much media, and with artists, there's mainly Rodney Matthews I looked into, and Jamie Hewlett, who I'm going with flipping train. Um, Jamie Hewlett, who I looked into for just style development, my own, because I just felt like just adapting it. I think something else about my book is just a ton of doodles, and then my little thing with swastikas for for my own desire of changing people's opinions on that, because it's ridiculous how simple. Okay, I'm going to ramble about that, but you already know what I'm on about because you've seen that video. So right, uh, what else? What else have I got on my mind about my work in general? Yes, so could have done with just going in depth with other artists, perhaps, but and perhaps more in depth with Roger Dean, because I didn't really. It was mostly a color thing with Roger Dean. That was the main thing. I just liked the colors he used, and I wanted to just present that. And then the photographic aspect of two of my exhibition works is a little unexplained, almost. But it was mostly just influence from Roger Dean's work. I think that's the main thing. Okay, I keep doing that. It doesn't really matter. You've seen them already. Well, you've probably seen them right now. So I think I'll just conclude. In conclusion, I am happy with what I've done, but I feel as though um, if I'd planned things, I think it's a planning thing. If I planned things better, um, restricted, either given myself more time on the animation, but if I like 2 months, at least, that is how much time I would need. 1 month for like the planning and the making the scripts and the audio stuff for the animation, and then the second month to make the animation. If I miss on that 2 month thing, if I only have 1 month, don't I shouldn't have bothered with it. I should have just gone on and with something else and developed that and worked onto that. I left it a little bit too late. I only had, you know, I'm not going to go into how much I had. You already know. So yeah, that's that. And so planning, and I think that's the main thing really. Yeah, same thing with the exhibition. I think that's really what it was, just planning. Just planning. Also the use of other media. I mean, I did use a computer and a graphics tablet, but I think in terms of more classical, traditional media like painting, for example, that would have been good if I'd done more of that to sort of expand the different avenues I could have gone, perhaps. Um, Same thing with printmaking. I could have perhaps done this. I really needed to sell all the different things I could have done in this FMP, but with what I've already done, I'm quite satisfied with myself, and I've already stated what I feel as though I could have improved on. All right, there we go. Hope you didn't mind too much all that rambling and you tolerated my presence uh, in the FMP project. All right, thank you, and uh, I hope you didn't feel as if this was too lackluster.